Brahman, my worst fear, my worst fear is to not finish my calling. It's not achieve my goals. It's not to change society as I was meant to. I want to ask young men to start with that. Stop running after girls. Every free moment you have, get online. Brahman, I studied speakers and preachers until I finished their materials online. I would get one person home, we connect emotionally, and I study how his work. Or her work. I would buy all the books. I've studied Rebecca Brown, studied Myers Munro, I've studied T.J. I've studied but I was not finding Kenyans or Africans. I know why they are first world. People are keen to unleash the potential. Zuckerberg was experimenting with things in the university. He was not trying to impregnate girls. His first priority, even if he was having his first priority, we can see it today. He changed the world through Facebook. I want to ask every young person listening to me, think first about your calling, your goals, your dreams. Because even if you tie yourself up with a person now, you will only evolve to realize you don't even go. You're not going the same direction. Those are two losses. One, you give up your dreams for a stupid relationship. Only to realize the relationship is not suitable for you. And then the time has lapsed, you have not developed your dreams. You're just an average worker, an average graduate. Have I told you how much mediocrity we have? Our graduates are not specialized in anything. They have papers, but they're not good in anything. They're invited for jobs they don't even show up on time. They're just crying joblessness, but they themselves are useless. They did not spend their time growing. Bramwell, don't fear about, let me tell you, don't fear joblessness in Kenya. Don't. Do not. Because workers are looking for employers are looking for good workers, and it is so hard to find them.
Most young men are not employable.
Exactly. Don't worry about who will employ you. Who has employed me myself? I've employed myself. And I worked with some guys. I was employed for a year or more. And they picked me because of my excellence. Just work on your excellence. The only struggling time, mastery goes in process. To master your calling life goes in stages. There's one stage called apprenticeship, where you learn under other masters. You absorb content, you study books. That usually comes after you become a student. So it's student, apprenticeship, active, creative, or young masters, and then masters. This period of apprenticeship, after you finish university, after you come from the hands of parents and teachers and lecturers, you start, your first job is apprenticeship. You're learning on the job, from the demands of the work, from your coaches, from this journalism, studying others, imitating, learning, copying, learning yourself, exploring, trying new things. That period takes about 10 years. That's why so few people take it. Usually the longest and the telling, the most important. That's how Edison, that's how people like Michael Faraday, everybody you see who change society had that period of 10 years apprenticeship. The one for Albert Einstein was so precise, about 9 years. People who came to change society stayed. In fact, in medieval ages in Europe, there was no university. It was apprenticeship purely. You simply be signed for 7 to 12 years of learning on the job. Today we have universities, but we have removed that thing that transforms people's mind, thinking. So if you're young, 22, you're 19, don't think about relationship. Relationship is death. It's a grave. That's why we are poor. Women got married and were converted to generators of babies. Their dreams were forgotten. Men burden themselves with children and responsibilities of babies. They never develop their dreams. By the time you're done taking care of your kids, your life is gone. Your years are gone. Your time is gone.
I hope viewers, you can see the passion that Benjamin is burning with. Now, Benjamin, I like the way you are expressing these things in a very explicit manner. Benjamin, now I want us to move a little bit higher. To those men, for example, who are 30, 31, and they are dating women who are ahead of them in terms of years. Benjamin, in such a scenario, when does age become a bother?
Age becomes a concern only when maybe you come from different generations and you can't see the world alike. If you see the world in a similar way, go ahead and get married. Nani, Benjamin Disraeli, Prime Minister of England, during the days of Victoria, married a woman who was 15 years older than him. And he said, I will make many black infatuation. I will think straight on who can help me function. His calling was very big, to be a prime minister. Very big calling, and you need a woman they can reason alike. So when I advise men on how to look for a woman, I tell them, look for a woman whom you can think alike, who inspires you, who you see the world like, who you can be friends, you can laugh together, talk together, build together. As long as she's 25 and beyond, she's not a child. You can see this is herself now. Mm-hmm. And you yourself, I recommend strongly 30 at least, or some have seen them. Strongly recommend 30. If this woman is mature and you can rhyme, you can flow, and you can make a team, people can see the age from outside. They may see that she's older. But if you can grow and see life the same way, it's hard to find soulmates. If you find your soulmate, marry. All right? Mm-hmm. The only time that you do not go to the excesses is if you realize you cannot rhyme. The women, of course, who will be 30 years older than you, your 20, she's 50, you look like her son or something like that. Mm-hmm. You are 30, she's 60. You will find that you are not in the same place in life. As long as you're in the same place in life, generally, it's advisable. But if she's too older than you, within a few years, she's out physically.
Yeah.
That's not possible. Mm-hmm. Let her be your friend, a coach, a mentor out there. Marry a young woman for whom you can build. This is a problem I've seen today, and it's very common in girls. Mm-hmm. She's 26 and she's marrying a guy who's 40, 45.
Yeah. Or 31, 70.
I've seen weirdness, Brahma. The problem is that you are taking off, they are landing. Your life is short generally. Please, your life is generally short. Mm-hmm. You only have productive years of about 30 years to 60. When you're 30 years old to about when you're 60. That's the maximum creativity. You want a person whom you're in the same seasons in life. Mm-hmm. And I strongly recommend you when you're 30 as a guy, 31, 32, get a girl who's 27, 26, 29. You're peaking together. If you marry an older woman, make sure she's only like 5 years at most. Mm-hmm. That's what I recommend. And if you are just fresh, don't marry a woman who has 4 children. Let her marry people who have that journey of life. Maybe she has another life you did not have. Mm-hmm. I'm saying you can. I'm not saying you cannot. You can. But I'm saying what I recommend is it's the path of least resistance. Some paths are just you're creating obstacles for yourself. If you are the age of the woman's children, they will never call you daddy. They'll simply call you as an intruder. They're likely to think you came because of the money the woman has. So avoid some of these awkward, weird, extreme. People, media likes to highlight. Mm-hmm. If today you are doing a wedding with a woman who's the age of your mother, the cameras will come. Give you publicity. You look like you're winning now. What about 20 years down the line? Mm-hmm. 30 years down the line? Media likes what is sensational. Remember, when a dog bites a man, that's not news. Yeah. But if a man bites a dog,
that is news.
So the media attention, likes, Facebook, social media trending does not mean you're succeeding. Mm-hmm. It means you're just entertaining people. And they will quickly move away from you to the next sensation. Make sure you contract what you can keep. Contract what you can work with. Make sure you're thinking rationally. You're not carried away by emotions.
And I like the way you normally say it, Benjamin, that dating or love requires utmost rationality. Now we have people who have rationalized age. They're saying, for as long as the two of us are not bothered by age, you see, we might be 10 years difference or even 20. Some people, they're dating, they're married, 20 years difference. But they say, to us, it is not a bother. Age,
you see,
is just a number.
Age is not just a number. Aging is a process, please. Age is not just a number.
Yeah.
Your body is biological and it's experiencing tear and wear over time. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Brahma, today you meet a woman who's 55. And you guys can converse the way we are conversing. She's seeing you like more of a son. Let her be your mentor to show you direction in life, not your wife.
Yeah.
In fact, if you ask me, I'll call you an idiot right away. Man, that girl is me, I'm 32, she's a young mind.
That's what they say. In fact, let me put it correctly. They say, we console ourselves
yes,
that it doesn't matter how old a woman is. She's still a girl inside.
After 20 years, you'll be 52, she'll be 72.
Yeah.
You'll be at the peak, she'll be on the exit. Think about long term. Those who fight that age doesn't matter are usually talking in the beginning of the relationship. Mm-hmm. Down the line, to become impossible. But if you are marrying for commercial purposes, people are marrying for weird reasons.
For commercial purposes.
You don't want the long route of gathering your own money. She has already gathered. You saw that you can strike several birds with the same stone. If you are that kind of a tick, a guy coupe, just want shortcuts in life, you're not marrying for companionship. You're marrying for what you see. You hope she dies soon. You know, so you can go now and, you know. So Bramwell, I strongly recommend be patient with the process of growth. If you marry a woman who is 5 years older, then it's okay. If she is 10 years, leave it for other Bramwells who are older.
Yeah.
Don't marry out of charity, brother. Don't rescue a sister. Don't bring sympathy here. Be practical. Happily for you, God did not assign you a particular woman.
Yes.
He left it for you to choose. I want you to choose soberly. Think about 20 years down the line. 30 years down the line. If you marry bad, you might not make it to heaven. That's the worst part.
Yeah, true.
You trap yourself in situations that leave you vulnerable to cheating, sexual immorality, bitterness, anger. You know, so many things that can interfere with your spirit. I want you to marry. Don't be an activist. Don't say, I've seen girls who marry very old men. They look happy now. Down the line, it doesn't work. And as I told you, if you marry with good motives, not for the money, you find that it's better to marry a person who you are approximately in the same age group. So that you can take off together. You know, when you have a zeal of life when you're young. When you're old, you've seen it all. Yeah. You're trying to maintain. You're not even that strong. When Corona comes, the older ones must hide first. So don't become extreme. Don't go too far. Marry people with whom you're in the same age group.
And those people, those men who are 30 and above, right, they're supposed to settle and they're always gravitating towards women who are older than them. Does it mean there is a vacuum inside them?
Many of them are trying to grab at the lost youth. Many of them are, I've seen a lot of women who are mistaken, thinking that men my age are too immature. I want the older ones because we can reason alike. Yeah. Some of them become side chicks, others married, divorcees, because they think this person is mature, we can reason together. But that's shortcut, that's laziness. At every age, you can find people who think like you. Stop thinking you are so special that nobody is thinking on your level. People like you are rare, but they are there. Be patient and look. If you rush forward to get men who are older, women who are older, it will still catch up with you. It will still catch up with you. After some years, you realize this was a bad deal. But remember, I told you some people marry because of other reasons, but they can't admit them. You can see, everybody can see something's off with this marriage. But the reason is, it's not companionship, it was another reason. The people who suffered rejection, the first person who accepts them is way older than them. And because instead of dealing with the rejection, they marry wrong. Be very careful. So people marry wrong because this is the first person who has accepted them. You know, they have unfinished father, mother, parental need. And they saw a parent in this person. They wanted love by their father. They never got it. This person feels like their mother, the mother they wanted. All right? Unconscious, unfinished business. And later it will backfire. Because this person is not coming like your dad, like coming like your partner. Yeah. The reality will dawn and you will split apart.
And Benjamin, we have these women, older women, who have always the tendency to moving towards or being attracted to young men. You see? Some
of them just want the sexual energy of the young men because the young men are very energetic. It is just a normal lust. There's no much explanation to it. She just wanted a man who can last longer in bed. Others is power. She wanted a man she can control. The other man, she cannot control him because he's mature, he knows what he wants. This young man, she can control him using money, power, connections, authority. So all these are perversions. They're not normal desires. A boy who feels like your son, there should be an instinct in you that says, this feels like sleeping my son. Yeah. The women who are perverted, they have lost that instinct. Yeah.
Benjamin, you see, there is a time you said that people have scored A's in other aspects of life, but when it comes to love matters, they have scored ease, right?
Yes.
And we see it all the time.
You're right.
And this is the reason as to why we are having this kind of discussion here, to actually enlighten them on the dangers of age when it comes to matters of relationship. So, Benjamin, you'd realize that some young men actually take a shortcut, okay? They want to use somebody to be elevated to the next level of life in terms of financial or whatever. So you'd realize that they have that notion that these women who are older, apart from being financially stable, they already know what they want. They will not disturb. They don't disturb. They don't nag. They don't demand. So they have a soft landing. And that is why they gravitate towards older women.
And you know, again, the same problem. This young man is looking for shortcuts. He's looking for a woman who has been seasoned by life over years. And himself, he's still young. So he will go to this girl. Himself, he could be 28. The lady is 42. There's a 14-year difference.
Yeah.
Always do the mathematics again. 20 years down the line. Always. That's what he is ignoring. She could be maturer now. But what will catch up with me later? 20 years down the line, she's 62. I'm only 48. After that, she's 72. I'm only 58. The difference, the consequences will catch up with you later. So, just because you say she sounds mature does not excuse you. Go look for women of your age. They are there, who are mature and teachable. Season them. The same reasoning, these women who date married men. He looks polished, stable, he knows what he wants. Another woman has grown up.
Exactly.
Time and experiences. You still must do your journey. There is no shortcut. If you try to look for shortcuts, you'll be cut short. Always remember that. It will catch up with you. In the meantime, you can look like you are carrying the show. Yes, me, I broke all the rules. I married a person who was older than I. There's no problem. I started to become a third wife, second wife, Over time. It says in Ecclesiastes, because the punishment for sin is delayed, people indulge in sin. Because the consequences for some of these choices come at the end. People ignore it here. I posted something and said, I saw somewhere where a story where a lady shared her belief in God in one of the public forums of a public figure. And people started trolling her, harassing her, saying, oh, this idea of God, oh, it's a fallacy. And I told them, you need to be so sure of who you are as a Christian, so sure of you as a man, as a woman, so sure that even when people try to harass you, you remain calm and focused. Brahma, you cannot win the championship, any competition, whether it is getting a good woman, getting a family life, unless you can withstand trash talk, criticism, all kind of disapprovals, name calling, and not lose focus. In combative sports like MMA, UFC, boxing, even football, when the competition is coming up, people try to trash talk you, call you names, to discourage you, to get you angry, frustrated, discouraged, demoralized, so that he can beat you easily. That's the same thing with marriage. When it comes to marriage, it comes to, you must be firm and say, I know I deserve what I deserve and I'll look for it until I get it. Yeah.
So, in other words, Benjamin, you are saying that men should start dating when they are 30 and above.
And when they feel socially ready to commit to one woman. For some men, it will be that too. Others are for that. Stay until you are ready to not frustrate one woman. And once you are ready, look for her aggressively. Because good women are everywhere, but wife materials are few. Women are everywhere. If you close your eyes and just stagger, you fall onto one.
Yeah.
But a wife material and one of your standard. Especially you, Brahma. Oh, guys, I'm looking for a wife for this guy. Anyway. If you have been consciously learning as a guy, if you've been developing yourself, I learned that the hard way. You know, I had been seeing beautiful girls everywhere, so I thought it would not be a big deal. They are beautiful outward, but inside, for you to reason, Brahma, women whom you can reason with a few. And to tell women, those who are good, why you have developed yourself, you're ready to marry, don't feel discouraged. The men are also looking for you. Only that the club of the consciously developing is small. Sometimes they feel discouraged because they're not finding their type easily. Of all my dating, there's only one who was of my type. That's when I married. I saw a few others whom we could reason alike after I had moved on. So I know the market is not empty. You will find if you look.
You will find if you look. You've mentioned about wife material. Benjamin, to you, what is the definition of wife material?
For me, I told you about values. That's all. A woman who values family, who values submission, values God, values honesty, values hard work, values growth, values personal, authentic development, who can take correction, who can control herself, restrain herself. Your woman will be getting hit on by men throughout. Yeah. And you can't investigate her. You need a woman who values herself, respects herself, has integrity, values faithfulness for its own sake. Who is self-disciplined, who works on herself, who values happiness, values joy, values greatness, values big dreams. It's the values that define a woman. The values you carry is what you're looking for. And I told you not to avoid young girls because you can't tell their values. You cannot tell their values. Right now, you know that people are not humble, they're subdued by poverty. That's a problem of people from humble backgrounds.
I like it.
We like to give it a decent name. What is humble about poverty?
There's nothing humble about poverty.
Poverty is very arrogant.
Yes.
It makes a mature woman walk without clothes.
And shameful.
Tatters.
Yes.
Poverty is dirty. We like to give it a decent name to avoid political correctness. So, learn the following. It's okay to find a person from any... Remember, people don't choose backgrounds. They choose what to do with their backgrounds.
Yeah.
Remember that. Don't judge, discriminate, discard people because of where they came from. Discriminate, refuse them or admit them depending on what they did with where they came from. Some come from very well-off families, but they are very balanced. You can't even see it. I have done interviews with the ladies. You just feel the pure energy, the ease of life, flowing, open, playful, deep learning. The ladies have conversed with only to learn their backgrounds later, and you're shocked. Or when she steps out, the car she lives in. When you're asking for boda. You try to take two corners so that they don't see how you disappear. And the lady ignites a heavy machine.
Yes.
But you do not see that while you're talking. That's a wife material, brother. She possesses things. She's not possessed by things. She comes from a well-off background, but she has not let background get into her.
All right.
She decided a path in life. Others have poverty. They have nothing, just like you. The shoe is engothita. You know, you can tell somebody who did not have much to work with. Especially if you belong to the club, WhatsApp group. You can tell. This one. You know, you see a brother, the way he's dressed, and that is his best.
Yeah.
Because he is trying. Always check the attitude. There are people who come from the so-called humble backgrounds with little to work with, but you see how high they think. It's only a matter of time. She'll be wealthy.
Benjamin, the other aspect about dating and people ignoring age, you'd realize, and this one especially affects women. You'd realize, we have talked about finances. Most women of a younger age or of our age, they tend to ignore choosing people with a good work ethic.
And you know, if they notice that you are hardworking, they will say you are strict.
Yes.
You don't like fun enough. So they end up marrying the bad boys, the party boys.
Thank you.
Because that party boy has a lot of fun. Very exciting.
Yes.
He's always chatting, showing up, taking her out. You know. But on what money is he running on? He has a job, but he's giving the job very minimal effort. These girls who don't understand that a person who is not disciplined is only a matter of time before they decline. He is on a decline. He could be working with a good inheritance or a good job, but those vices of his will advance. The alcoholism, the flirting, the lack of self-control. he will crash eventually. So there are actually girls are likely to be more attracted to party guys than to serious guys, professional guys. And I told you, even when you're professional and serious, put fun in your life, be balanced. So what you need is a woman is a balanced man. A man who is both working and also fun-loving. You can enjoy it. But they also know what time to put their minds to work. Those are the only ones who can sustain a family. Over the years, there are people who you should stop encouraging them to get married. They cannot sustain marriage over the years. Please, even if it's your brother, don't bring somebody's daughter there. Don't use your influence because you're on TV to convince. Do you know how badly we do? We don't want our own sisters married to useless men. Yeah. But why are we convincing people's sisters to marry our useless brothers? Can we use the same measurement? I have relatives who I don't recommend anybody to marry them. Marry them at your own risk, but not at my recommendation. You're not marrying brother to Zulu. That family. You're not marrying me. Evaluate people independently, irrespective of where they come from. So those girls who are naive enough to value the present situation over the future. When I was dating my girl, I did not have money. I was wearing oversized trousers. That's how I could get. I did not have dressing style. I was just buying a good trouser. Now looking back, it was shoddy. That time it was my Sunday best. But she could see potential, the energy I came with, the vision, the drive. How committed I was. As a woman, you must read values, commitment, dedication. There's a man who does not have a job, but he's also lazy, and he's using the lack of job as an excuse. Not never to pay anything, never send you money, never to show up. What are you doing, such a zombie? There's another guy who does not have a job, but he's doing the best in his circumstances. He's working small jobs to get small money. He's working, he's putting his mind, he's thinking, he's working. You can see, even if the car is stuck in mud, it's revolving. Some people are stuck and they switched off. When you're starting out in life, you can't tell basing on earnings or the current properties, but you can tell basing on energy, drive, focus, how the person wants, the level of their zeal.
Talking about the level of their zeal, Benjamin, the other reason as to why you'll see these young women going for older men, they will say the very reason that you have given here, laziness. Benjamin, how can ladies tell a poverty mindset from a man they're just about to date or they're dating?
It's very important to be very careful, even you as a man.
Yes.
Poverty mindset manifests as follows. People love safety more than success. They avoid spending so that they don't run bankrupt. And we are not saying you must be a spendthrift. But you're saying that people who cannot invest in an opportunity, they would rather keep their money. All right? If you realize that the person fears investment, fears decisions, fears risk-taking, that's the first sign of poverty is fear. Imagine that. Imagine that. Fear is the biggest emotion that poverty inspires. You see, you saw the worst. Yeah. There are parents who rent their families to poverty because they drank all the money. They took off with other women. They squandered the money. They gambled the money. So you saw somebody destroy family fortune and the family struggled. So your fear became fear of struggling. Fear of going bankrupt. That fear could hold you back. So don't marry fearful women. Every human being was given fear. The healthy form of fear is meant to help us escape danger. You sense a threat, you take off. So you survive. That fear helped you get out of way of danger. But paralyzing fear, the kind of fear that is excessive and unreasonable, the fear that holds you back from trying new things, from developing, from advancing, that fear will keep you in poverty for life. Have you noticed people fear trying out business for 2 to 5 years without it having profit? But they have no problem working for 30, 40 years in a job with small pay. So that person who is willing, and we're not saying everybody should go to business, that person who values personal development, improvement, and bettering themselves, that person has overcome poverty mindset. The second element of poverty is stinginess. Be very careful with the type of strings a person will not spend.
Okay.
Or avoid. Whole bargain over 5 shillings. Stinginess is shown also in bargaining. How people avoid, they try to cut, to push the seller until you're embarrassed. A person who will buy cheap things, cheap, everything cheap, everything cheap, cheap. When you see that stinginess, that person has not overcome poverty mindset. Extravagance is also a sign of poverty. There are people who buy things they can hardly afford for the sake of image. So if a person values image too much that they spend so much to look wealthy, we say wise people use their money to make more money. Poor people use their money to look like they have more money. All right? To look like, to look wealthy. Instagram photos, these photos, selfie, this, until they even invest on a phone that they can't, so it's not on their standard. It would have been wiser to use that money otherwise. So when you see stinginess, when you see lack of balance, lack of patience with the process, that's a sign of poverty mindset.
All right. Thank you so much, Benjamin, for your time. There you have it, guys. Age is not just a number. Thank you for watching The Benjamin Zulu Show.